If you just opened an envelope from the Florida Department of Revenue, don't do what most business owners do, and that's panic and immediately call your accountant to just handle it. Instead, here's what you need to do in the first 48 hours of having received that letter, that audit notice from the Florida Department of Revenue. What the notice is that you're describing and looking at is a notice of intent to audit, form DR-840, or a notice of intent of limited scope audit, form DR-846. Both of them effectively say the same thing. You've been selected for an audit. Now the Department of Revenue wants to turn your life upside down, looking for a tax assessment. So what do? First thing is, you stay calm. You ensure that you know it's not a bill. It's just them, the Department of Revenue, wanting to take a look at your books and records and then make an assessment. Because 9 times out of 10, they will be making an assessment. A huge mistake that you could make that you do not want to make here is just responding to the auditor right away, just trying to explain your situation and handing over more records when you do hand over records, handing over more of them than you absolutely need to do. You only need to provide the records that are requested to the extent that those records exist. You don't need to volunteer additional information, and you don't necessarily need to provide records that the auditor is not requesting. Even more so, if the auditor is auditing your entity, but you have a related entity, you don't need to volunteer related information about that related entity to tell the auditor about everything that's going on with that. And that's ultimately going to be the difference between what the auditor is legally entitled to receiving and the information that the auditor should obtain versus information that's wholly extraneous from the auditor's review. Now, what's a realistic timeline for everything? Well, when you first get that audit notice, you're going to have 60 days to start gathering information. They might try to sweet talk you into signing away your rights and having the audit start right away. And if you do that, they will do a full court press of trying to get this audit done immediately. And that will not give you the time that you need to run your business and pull the vast amounts of information that the auditor is going to want to see. After that, you'll go back and forth with the auditor with information and additional random deadlines that the auditor is going to set. Eventually, you'll get an assessment. That assessment will be the work papers, and those work papers will describe to you what the auditor thinks is taxable and how much is taxable for each issue that the auditor is assessing you on. Now, after that, you'll have 30 days from the date of that notice to get information and send it to the auditor. But once that time period expires, then the auditor can issue the Notice of Proposed Assessment, or NOPA. That NOPA then gives you 2 months to file an informal protest or an appeal, or 4 months to litigate it. What is best for your situation depends. So the whole process can take anywhere from 6 months to a year before the audit is going to be done. When is a phone call necessary for a lawyer and not just your accountant or your CPA? Well, certainly if this is a criminal tax matter, then you absolutely do need a lawyer. If the auditor is making an assessment and there's legal reasons why you don't owe the assessment, then a lawyer could be extremely helpful for you to argue your case. And not just any lawyer, but a lawyer who is an expert in sales and use tax issues. A very real-world example of this is a prospective client. This prospective client had an issue and reached out to us. This prospective client talked to me about their situation and didn't like how much we were going to charge. They had found someone else that they thought could, a non-lawyer, that they thought could do as good a job as us, and they paid this person money, and this person didn't do for them what they needed done. And by the time this prospective client came back to me, their situation had gotten significantly worse, to where this prospective individual did end up hiring us and ended up paying us a lot more, and paying the Florida Department of Revenue too a lot more than they probably would have if they had just hired us to begin with. So you do get what you pay for, and you absolutely should hire an attorney who is an expert in sales and use tax issues, and not just someone who claims to have studied tax and is not really truly an expert in it. If you get a notice today, what do you need to do this week? First, you just need to breathe. Panicking and being excited about the situation will not change the situation. Having a calm, cool demeanor is what's absolutely necessary in order to think through the critical issues that you're going to be facing for the next 6 months. Yes, you're going to have sleepless nights, and yes, this will be weighing on you for months on end, and that's okay. That's to be expected and is normal. It's something that I hear quite frequently, in fact. But that is why our clients hire us, is in order to take that burden off their shoulders and have us, someone who does this on a regular, a daily basis, take over and guide them to the best possible result for their situation. The second thing is to figure out what is the auditor actually looking for and doing. And the third is, if appropriate, to hire a competent sales and use tax attorney to help with your situation. So if you've received an audit notice and you're not sure what to hand over, what to say, or how to do it, the first conversation you should consider strongly having is with an attorney, such as myself, who specializes in sales and use tax. We offer free consultations, and I'm happy to do the same for you. Certainly, it is not for the faint of heart, and it is something that you have to be committed to having and enduring for the long term of this type of an audit. But it is something that, with patience, could potentially lead to an excellent result.